Hey up everyone! So continuing the Venice Film Festival coverage, only now from my bedroom back in London, today's film I'm discussing on the channel is arguably the most important and impactful film to come out of Venice this year. It is the gripping new film from Tunisian filmmaker Kaouther Hania called The Voice of Hind Rajab. But before we dive in, if you guys have been enjoying my Venice Film Festival coverage and want to help support my channel, please do consider hitting that subscribe button for me and also hitting that like button. It's really good for the algorithm and I'm getting closer and closer towards 10,000 subscribers, which is my next goal. So if you want to help me get there a little bit quicker, please do consider hitting that subscribe button. You guys may remember that Kaouther Hania's previous film, Four Daughters, was nominated for Best Documentary Feature 2 years ago at the 2024 Oscars. Her new film, The Voice of Hind Rajab, is an arresting one-location drama which could very well be the most powerful 90 minutes of cinema that you watch in 2025. Hania's previous film, Four Daughters, blurred the lines between documentary and fiction, and in a similar fashion, The Voice of Hind Rajab occupies a unique space between fiction and reality. She's applied her skills as a documentary filmmaker and fused it together into this dramatization of real events which took place in 2024, and the end result is a docudrama which is honestly unlike anything that I've seen previously before. And it truly is a powerful watch. By the end of this film, I was weeping. I mean, that comes as no surprise. I cry at everything, but all around me, all I could hear was like audible sobs, sniffling, and like deep exhales, and then there's the applause. Like, this had the longest and most passionate applause I've heard in any screening at Venice this year, but you guys may have seen on social media that this film's premiere ended up getting a 23-minute standing ovation after it finished, okay? That's the longest ever at Venice, okay? And to put that into context, just imagine you're watching your favorite episode of The Simpsons and you're clapping for the entirety of it, plus 1 extra minute. Okay, that is wild. I'd break my hands if I had to clap for that long, but you know what? I get it. Normally I find this whole excessive clapping custom after premieres at film festivals to be quite wanky and obnoxious, but for this film, 23 minutes of applause seems justified, okay? It is that good. I'm gonna talk about the plot now, and I just want to issue a trigger warning for anyone that's watching that might be sensitive to topics relating to war and death, because yeah, this is what the whole film is about, and I can't discuss this film without talking about these subjects, so if you're sensitive towards these topics, now's your time to leave. So what is this film all about then? Well, plot-wise, the story is a reenactment of one particularly harrowing day for the employees of the Palestine Red Crescent Society, which is located about 52 miles from Gaza. The day in question is January 29th, 2024. The people who work here are first responders, okay? They answer the phone calls of anyone that might be caught in the crossfires of the war that's going on in Gaza. One of these operators is called Amer, played beautifully in this film by Motaz Malhees, and he answers the phone call of a 6-year-old girl called Hind Rajab, who is stuck in a horrifying situation. She's trapped in a car that has been bombarded with gunfire, and not only is she surrounded by tanks, but she's also surrounded by the deceased bodies of her auntie, her uncle, and her 4 cousins. And here's the kicker. The voice that you hear on the phone is the genuine audio recording of the conversations which took place between Hind Rajab and the Palestine Red Crescent workers who spoke to her that day. So everyone you see in the call center is an actor, but they're reacting to the real voice recordings of the titular Hind Rajab, or as they affectionately come to know her as, Hanood. Knowing what we're listening to isn't a performance, but the real-life tremblings of a 6-year-old girl surrounded by death and chaos is so soberingly powerful. You'll be hard-pressed to find a dry eye in the audience once this film finishes. But yeah, that's just one of a few techniques that Hania employs in order to blur the line between reality and fiction. Like, there's a lot of overlaying elements occurring throughout this film. For example, the soundbar of Rajab's voice that is the very first image that you see in this film. We often see this soundbar on the computer screens that the characters are looking at, and when we're looking at those monitors, you can see the reflections of the actors in the monitors. Sometimes you'll hear the dialogue more than once, like you'll hear the voice recording like on the phone, like you'll hear it, but then you'll see the actors say the line. There's also some footage of Rajab's mother giving an interview for this film. But the peak of Hania's ingenuity comes in this film's emotional climax. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but It involves a recording on somebody's mobile phone, and that's all I'm gonna say. It could have run the risk of being a gimmick, but it's implemented so tactfully and beautifully. It just adds another layer of authenticity to the scene, but it was so unexpected, okay? It was unlike anything that I've seen done before, and it floored me. I was very impressed by Ben Hania's direction on this, okay? She shoots it so aggressively, but also so intimately. And it's not just impressive on a technical level, okay? The performances in this are sublime. As it's a story that plays out almost in real time, everyone's performances feel very true to life, very raw and in the moment. Every reaction in this feels so honest and human. Motaz Malhees' Amer is so desperate to save Rajab from this nightmare, but keeps getting frustrated by the procedural bureaucracy that they have to follow before the Red Cross team can go out there and rescue her. Omar's supervisor, Mahdi, another excellent performance from Amer Hlehel, is more accustomed to the guidelines that they have to follow. It's his hands that are the most tied in this because obviously he wants to help her, but they can't send anyone in to retrieve her until they know that it's safe to do so. They have to wait for the green light. There's a scene in this which feels like something out of a police procedural thriller where Mahdi is writing on the windows of his office the list of actions that need to occur before they can send the ambulance in to rescue Rajab. And when he's done, it ends up forming this sort of infinity loop symbol, which always results back in square one. You really do feel that sense of frustration that the characters are feeling, that they're just going around in circles, and eventually Omar's emotions boil over to the surface, because each passing minute is just racking up the anguish of the situation. Saja Kilani plays another operator called Rana, and she was the heart of this film. She develops a heart-wrenching bond with Rajab, as if she were her daughter or niece. She was magnificent here, and the same goes for Clara Khoury, who plays the counselor Nisreen. She provides a much-needed calming presence to all the hostility that's bouncing around the office. Her character is so soothing, like you might actually find yourself performing the breathing exercises that she's instructing to her co-workers, like in the cinema. I did. And while there are other characters in this, much like another amazing film, a film that not enough people have seen, which is Frank Kranz's Mass, this really is a four-person chamber piece where everyone is bringing their A game. Because it's all the little moments that are sprinkled throughout Ben Hania's script that remind you that these characters are people, okay, not characters. Like at the start of this film, when Omer is cheerfully playing like rock, paper, scissors with his colleagues, or a tender moment after a heated one between Omer and Mahdi, something as simple as one of the characters offering the other one a cigarette, or the two of them playing a game on their mobile phones separated between a door. It's those little moments that just remind you of how human these characters are. But it also allows us, the audience, a moment to breathe. Now then, do I think this film has any Oscars chances? I sure as hell hope so that this is an Oscars player because it deserves to be acknowledged for so much. And I do think there is potential for it to be an Oscars player because, for one, this film has been executive produced by a lot of huge names within the industry. You've got Alfonso Cuarón, Jonathan Glazer, Rooney Mara, Joaquin Phoenix, Brad Pitt. Plus the reception that this film has had in Venice is sure to net it a prize there. Up until yesterday, I thought that Park Chan-wook's No Other Choice was the clear frontrunner for the Golden Lion, but then this came along and absolutely trounced that. The truth is, no other film at Venice this year has had this level of rapturous, unanimous praise as The Voice of Hind Rajab has. At this point, I would be gobsmacked if it didn't win the Golden Lion. And if it does win, then Kaouther Ben Hania will be the 8th ever woman to win the Golden Lion at Venice. The last one to win was Laura Poitras, who won for All the Beauty and the Bloodshed back in 2022. But what I'm hoping and theorizing might happen is this film will win the Golden Lion or another prize at Venice, and then subsequent screenings of it at TIFF and the London Film Festival will kickstart a passionate campaign for it to be an Oscars player. Because honestly, it could be a situation where this film gets nominated for Best International Feature for Tunisia, and that's it. We're still waiting to find out who's going to be distributing this film, but that revelation feels imminent because everyone's going to want this film. Some people are going to say that it's too political, given everything that's still going on in Gaza and Israel. It's a very sensitive subject, and it might add more fuel to the fire, but that might be all the more reason this film does become an Oscars player. I am certain that Tunisia will end up submitting this film as their submission for Best International Feature, and I think it might even stand a good chance of winning in that category. Even though this is looking to be a fierce year for international feature with other films like Sentimental Value, It Was Just an Accident, The Secret Agent, and No Other Choice all competing for those slots, that category is already shaping up to be a bloodbath next year. And for a film like this, that could be it, okay? It could just be nominated for Best International Feature, but the ripple effect that this film has had, I've not experienced anything quite like it at a film festival in ages. Okay, it's massive and it's gonna inspire people to want to watch it and it's gonna get discussed. So I can see this film potentially crossing over into other categories at the Oscars. Like, we could see nominations for Kaouther Hania for directing, screenplay. It could even take a slot in Best Editing. And if I can see a film getting an editing nom, then I have to take it seriously as a potential Best Picture nominee as well. I don't know if the Academy would be cool enough to acknowledge any of the performances, even though everyone in this film would be deserving of a nomination. I could see BAFTA maybe giving them 1 or 2 acting nominations, and perhaps there is a route for it to get SAG Ensemble. But yeah, let's just wait and see how it unfolds over the coming months. But I will say, this is a film that I personally will be championing, and I will be keeping a close eye on how it plays at this year's award season. Those are my current thoughts on its award season chances, but guys, do let me know in the comment section below. What are you predicting Oscar-wise for the voice of Hind Rajab? Yeah, I really want to hear what others have to say on this one. All right then, it's time to ask them 3 questions. Firstly, would I watch it again? Even though this is quite a difficult watch, I would absolutely watch this multiple times, and I would buy a copy and add it to my collection as well. Question 2, do I recommend it for you guys? Again, this isn't an easy watch, given that this is dealing with some very sensitive subjects that are going on in the real world right now, literally as we speak with the war in Gaza. So some people are going to find this triggering, upsetting, and distressing. However, I do want to emphasize that while this is very powerful cinema, the way that Kaouther Hania is approaching these subjects is done very sensitively, okay? At no point did I find this film exploitative. It's both intense and intimate, okay? And it packs more of an emotional punch into 90 minutes than any 2.5-hour movie could. So yeah, if you are interested in watching this film, just read what it's about beforehand so you know what you're getting into. But yeah, this film does get my seal of approval, and yes, I would recommend it to others. Anybody that knows me in real life, buckle up, okay? Because I'm going to talk to you about this movie. And question number 3, what score to give out of 10? I have no complaints about this film, okay? Zilch, zero, nada. I hadn't seen a single 10 out of 10 movie this year at Venice. That was until I saw this film on the very last day, and God, what a way to finish off the film festival. It is the best of the fest for me and will undoubtedly be in my top 10 favorite movies of 2025. So this film obviously gets a score of 10 out of 10, but also I'm gonna say it's a film that everyone should watch at least once before they die, okay? Haven't given that rank out in a while, but it feels good to say it again. But as always, guys, it's just one bloke's opinion. I wanna hear your thoughts on the voice of Hind Rajab. What do you make of this film? Are you excited for it? Do you think it's gonna be an Oscars player? Whatever you have to say, let your voice be heard in that comment section down below. If you've enjoyed the video, do help me out by hitting a little thumbs up button for me. If you want more movie, TV, and Oscars related content, don't forget to click that subscribe button for me. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. For more things related to movies, TV, the Oscars, and popcorn culture, I'm Lukehearfield, and I'll see you next time.